Welcome to The Explainer. So you know when you're stuck in crazy traffic and your eyes immediately snap to just one specific billboard? Or how your thumb instinctively hits that exact right button on your phone screen? Yeah, that's definitely not by accident. It's totally by design. Today, we're unpacking a massive concept, emphasis in design. We're talking about creating focus and visual attention. Now, we've touched on principles like contrast before, creating visual difference. But today we're mastering what actually captures the eye and exactly why it happens.
Okay, so before a designer even thinks about putting pen to paper or, cursor to screen, they face one absolute make or break dilemma. What should the viewer notice first? It's literally the undeniable truth of visual communication. I mean, not every element can be the star of the show, right? If everything is important, nothing is. If you don't answer this question right out the gate, the whole message just falls flat. Keep this dilemma right in the back of your mind as we unpack this today.
Just try to imagine a world where nobody bothered to answer that question. Picture walking right into a packed bazaar in Chandni Chowk, and every single shop sign is flashing neon right in your face. Or imagine loading up a website and literally every banner ad is blinking bright red at you. It's instant visual overwhelm. When absolutely everything is screaming for your attention all at once, nothing actually stands out. Your eye just kind of darts around in pure chaos. You can't make sense of the noise, and there's nowhere for your brain to just rest.
So obviously, we need a deliberate cure for all that visual chaos. And that cure? It's the focal point. Basically, the specific area that attracts the viewer's attention first. It's your visual anchor. Look, professional designers don't just cross their fingers and hope you happen to look at the right thing. No way. They engineer emphasis completely intentionally to force your eye exactly where it needs to go. Emphasis is that one defining tool that brings order right back to our visual experience.
When you actually nail a focal point, it acts like a giant, invisible arrow pointing straight to what matters. Emphasis creates clarity, it provides direction, and it builds up a solid visual hierarchy. And ultimately, it drives communication. It guides users so they instantly understand exactly what action they're supposed to take next. Really good design doesn't leave you guessing. Good design guides your attention completely naturally. It literally turns the complex into the incredibly simple.
Okay, let's dive into this. How do designers actually pull this off in the real world? Well, they rely on a very specific toolkit. There are 5 core methods of creating emphasis: color, size, contrast, placement, and detail. Think of each one like a totally different type of visual magnet. And as you'll see, the absolute best designers out there don't just pick one and call it a day. They deliberately layer these techniques together for maximum effect.
Now, what's super fascinating here is how this breaks down the 2 most immediate ways our brains process visual importance. First up, color. Bright or contrasting colors grab us instantly. I mean, think about that vibrant orange Proceed to Pay button sitting right there on a stark white Swiggy or Zomato checkout screen. Boom, your eye locks onto it. Second is size. It's just human nature. Larger elements naturally feel way more important to us. A massive newspaper headline easily overpowers all that tiny body text sitting right underneath it. It's just a really quick, instinctual way to tell the viewer, hey, read this first.
So let's move along and see how this builds with our next 2 methods. Contrast goes way beyond just color. It's about really strong differences in value, texture, or even shape to create deep, deep focus. Imagine a sharp, jagged shape floating in a sea of perfectly smooth gray circles. It literally demands your focus. Then consider placement. Honestly, where an element lives changes the whole shebang. If you isolate an object perfectly dead center and just surround it entirely with empty white space, that isolation itself acts like a massive spotlight.
And our 5th method is detail and complexity. The human eye is just intensely curious. Because of that, highly detailed areas act as a total magnet. They attract the eye significantly faster than plain, simple ones.
Think of a beautifully intricate Mendi design, or maybe a really complex mandala pattern sitting right next to a solid block of color. You're naturally going to spend way more time investigating that complexity, right? Because it practically begs to be explored.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how universal this entire concept is. Emphasis isn't just a trick for posters, it's completely foundational across literally all design disciplines. In graphic design, it's that bold, oversized typography jumping off a vibrant Bollywood movie poster. In UI/UX, it's that little green WhatsApp notification dot perfectly guiding your thumb. In fashion design, it's a heavy gold zari border on an elegant Kanjivaram sari that instantly draws the eye. In interior design, it's an intricate brass jhula placed smack in the center of a modern, super minimalist living room. And in product design, it's the contrasting bright red logo popping off a classic Royal Enfield fuel tank. Totally different applications, exactly the same core principle.
But you know, emphasis is deeply psychological too. It dictates exactly how a piece of design makes us feel. Think about strong emphasis for a second. Like a massive, vibrant explosion graphic. It feels bold, energetic, dramatic. It's literally shouting for your attention. But then, subtle emphasis. Like a single, delicately detailed feather resting on a really soft background. Well, that changes the mood completely. It feels elegant, minimal, and sophisticated. Master designers intentionally dial this level of emphasis up or down to completely curate your emotional experience.
So, here is my challenge to you. It's time to turn this theory into practice. Later today, I want you to stop and just observe. Look up at a massive hoarding in heavy Mumbai traffic, or open your go-to UPI app, walk into a local cafe, or even just glance at a YouTube thumbnail. Stop and ask yourself, what do you actually notice first? Seriously, don't let your eyes just drift on autopilot. Consciously track your attention.
And once you realize exactly where your eye went first, ask yourself the big question, why? How did the designer create that emphasis? Was it a crazy bright pop of color? Was it just massive in size? Was it stark contrast? Or maybe it was isolated perfectly in the center. Pause and observe these visual cues, guys, because breaking them down like this, that is exactly how professional designers study visual communication in the real world. Let's wrap up with this thought. Strong design is not only about adding elements, but also about controlling attention. It's never just about making things look pretty. It's about completely dictating the viewer's journey through a piece of work. Because if you can control attention, you can communicate absolutely anything. Thank you so much for joining this explainer. Keep observing the world around you and honestly ask yourself, are you really deciding what to look at, or did a designer already decide for you?